Both players loving getting on the front foot. It's Tully and McGrath on this occasion. Just such a solid base that just allows the hands to come through nicely.
Nice simple cricket shot here, just a little bit of shuffle down the pitch, getting some good length and hitting nicely over mid-off, not over-hitting, just looking for good timing. That'll do the world of good in terms of confidence to get this innings going. McGrath now 10 not out of 8 deliveries.
The reply here from Molly Strano. Bad one.
Yeah, just a little bit flatter, wasn't it? Just keeping McGrath at the crease, not able to advance to create that full length. Long on and deep mid-wicket protecting.
On drive for 1.
Such an important shot to be able to split that gap between the bowler and short mid-wicket. It's so easy to be able to just punch it back to those fielders and get a dot, which should really be an easy single. So a nice way to keep her innings moving, just pushing that bottom hand through while keeping the bat face open.
We know that the WBBL and T20 cricket is all about the power game and hitting multiple amount of runs throughout the overs. The strikers move on to 1 for 17 after that Strano over.
I was so disappointed in my performance. They should have just played the package and called it a day. There's the searing pain running down my leg. That was me saying goodbye. He wasn't there, and he knew in his heart that it wasn't there.
The process became, I'll give you an answer after I've working out for a few weeks, seeing how my hip does.
That needed attention.
Straight, or if it's wide of the stumps, I might sort of go a little bit cross back to the mid-wicket region. So they would be 2 boundary options, and then you've got to recognise where are my easy singles, where can I drag the inner fielders closer to me so I can then perhaps hit past them. And I think Beth Mooney does that really well. It's almost her game plan to draw the fielders in first, irritate the captain with some drop and run options, and then hit through the field.
Okay, so Beth Mooney has the drop and run, drags the field in. Meg Lanning, and a lot of the players have the release down to 3rd. Do you think that's a non-negotiable these days?
Absolutely, you can hit a good ball for a single quite safely down to 3rd, because very rarely there's a slip in play. So as long as you beat the wicket-keeper's gloves, if they're up, that's a fantastic option. Also a release shot for me was the paddle, and that's a shot that I practiced a lot. My family often had their heart in their mouths when I was doing that when I was on 0. But even though I'm early to the crease, I know that that's a quality option for me against a Sophie Molyneux, for example, who gives a little bit of pace. She's targeting the stumps, and it might just be for 1, and that's fine.
Yep. And then typically against spinners, you'd like to see batters being able to hit that
mid-on, that gap between, you can see Ellyse in that mid-wicket quite straight, trying to prevent that single. It takes a good shot. You can quite easily chip it up and return a catch to those 2 key fielders.
Excellent over there from Sophie Molyneux.
The card is from Paul Hobart, start. It's time to show cricket's true colour. After 9 months, men in blue will launch with Australians start on 27th November, 8 AM onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
Summer to remember, Monday to Friday, 10 PM, only on Sony 6.
With the shot there, Laura Wolvaardt played one at the start of the over, where everything looks fantastic, yet the ball's gone straight to the field.
And what you can try and do there is try and hit your non-striker.
Yeah.
or
Last night.
ask them to almost get in the way. This is pushing the rules a little potentially, but just get in the way of the bowler, hold your ground. So I know if I hit it slightly to your right, it's an easy single.
Josie Dooley got absolutely cleaned up last night at the non-striker's end. And you satisfied?
She did. She just had no chance of getting out of the way. And I mean, that was a full-blooded shot going for a boundary. What I'm talking about is you almost aim for your non-striker and they can scoot out of the way. And that should be an easy one.
So Who back in the attack for a second. It's nicely worked to the onside. Should get back for the second. Grass to put in a couple of quick ones, but does.
When you look at the strikers' top order, McGrath, Matt, Wolvaardt, Patterson, I think about how quick they are between the wickets. They're a good running between wickets team. We saw already Katie Mack taking a dive to get in for two quite safely, making her ground. I think that's something that this top order can do very, very well. Wolvaardt, someone who typically likes to keep the ball on the ground through the power play and focusing on precision, hitting the gaps. She's got plenty of power, so as soon as she hits those gaps, it's usually 4, no need to run.
That grip that we see with quite a few of the South Africans, you've got the gap between the two hands.
It is interesting, isn't it? Wherever you come from, you tend to sort of have the same attributes. We were talking last night about Heather Knight's high back lift and her very tall stance. You think of a few batters in the England team, men and women, who have a similar setup. Owen Morgan's a little bit like that as well.
Johnny Bester, you're all the way back to Graham Gooch.
Yep.
Advancing down the wicket, trying to put Perth off a length, picks out the fielder. It's interesting because I know in Australia we've spoken a lot, the coaching side of things is the grip, reasonably having your hands reasonably close together. You know, a lot of coaches almost talked about hands touching, so that the bat was just an extension of your arm, so it was one piece, but if the hands were further apart, they sort of worked against each other. But I think in today's game, we're not so, you know, we talk about using the top hand strength, but today's game, we're bringing in that bottom hand more and more.
Yeah, and I think Wolvaardt can really manipulate her angles when she hits to the leg side, the bottom hand coming through, and she can create a really whippy flick shot, just like that, as it hits through the vacant square leg region for 2 runs.
I think the beauty of it too is that she is a classical cover driver and straight driver, so it goes to show that you can have that split grip and still play those classical shots.
Well, I love how her grip, yes, it's a little bit split, but how tight her hands are to her back hip, so her hands are not getting away from her body, and I feel like that allows for minimal room for error. So when the further you get away from your body, you don't have an anchor point, so your hands and your bat swing can get a little bit out of rhythm.
So the strikers now 1 for 22 as they come into the last over of the power play. It'll be Molly Strano. She'll swing around to bowl from the opposite end. She bowls to McGrath. Driven nicely. That's through the field. That's a nice way to start the 6th over.
If we look at their power play, Mel, averaging 32 runs, the strikers in their power play, and averaging a loss of 1.1 wickets. So they're tracking okay here. They will enjoy a strong over against Strano if possible. They've faced a few too many dots in the last 2 overs.
Just reaching for it, just out of the reach of the straight cover, out of the reach of mid-off, and then reaches the boundary.
Yeah, I think Talia McGrath will feel quite fortunate with this one. She was driving on the up, but little bit out in front, so the ball was elevated and just fortunate to really pierce that gap. I thought Hubhw might have been able to stop it. She might be disappointed with that effort as well. So a lucky boundary to Talia McGrath.
Australia settles herself again, top of her mark. Fires one in.
I think that last shot you can see is an example that Talia McGrath can chip it in the air a little bit, hitting in front of the wicket. So we saw earlier Satterthwaite placing a catcher there. The mid-wicket Leeson is quite a way in. To Hubhw as cover in a catching position as well.
Up in the air, won't pass Amy Satterthwaite. She gets the game in the game once again, the skipper. And in the power play, the Melbourne Renegades have 2 key strikers' wickets.
Tour scored 27 November. Australian media here thinks that the men in blue stand no chance.
9 months, men in blue will lock horns with their fiercest rival. This rivalry is starting on 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards, only on Sony Sports channels. So show cricket's true color and roar.
So quickly. Blows again. Batter's cross while that ball was in the air, so Taylor will be at the non-striker's end.
Well, she can flick that switch, can't she? When she has to go, she's got all the power in the world.
It's down to Sophie Molyneux, so the first run comes from the fourth delivery of Healy blows over, and Sophie Molyneux will push back up inside the inner circle to put a little bit more pressure on Stefani Taylor for her first delivery. Amy Satterthwaite just with the 3 fielders out for the new batter at the crease, so
I think that's clever. They know that Stefani can chew up a few dot balls early, so an extra fielder inside the circle crowding the batter.
Might even bring up the cover if she plays shots like that as well.
Yep.
She's not a big, expansive sort of driver of the ball early in her innings either. Might not even be half a shout for the Renegades. But wanting to get Stefani Taylor off the mark. So a successful over there for the Renegades, and McKinley blows. Has picked up the wicket of Bridget Patterson for 7. Just a single coming from it as well. So they're doing well here, the Melbourne Renegades. As we see the end of the 10th over, strikers are 3 for 44. So time for a drinks break for the players.
It's time to show cricket's true colour. After 9 months, men in blue will lock horns with Australia. Start on 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
Summer to remember. Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. Only on Sony 6.
The dead man is risen!
You will rest in peace.
She's very classy when she holds a shape and can hit through the line of the ball. She's got wonderful hands on the drive. Just a little streaky, but again the placement is absolutely spot on from Talia McGrath. So they've struggled to find boundaries here, the Adelaide Strikers. Melbourne Renegades have been exceptionally tight, and Amy Satterthwaite sensing the drinks break, sensing the fact that the Melbourne Renegades are on top at the moment with the Strikers 3 for 44, is turning back to a strike bowler and Leah Tahuhu. That's nice. That is really, really nice. Could watch that all day long.
Well, you throw the ball to your leading strike bowler and Wolvaardt just says, let's use that pace and chip it down the ground for 4. How easy was that? She looks confident. Wolvaardt has been really the leading batter for the Adelaide Strikers. She's got a couple of good 50s. She really got out of the blocks quickly.
Fast bowler just getting struck for 4. That's the short wide one. It's interesting when you watch Laura Wolvaardt, sometimes she looks like, but she scores runs off it, she's having a net to a bowling machine, so she'll hit and stand and everything is just in perfect shape. And sometimes when you see those players and they get out to the middle, they really struggle because they're just hitting at one pace all the time. But Laura Wolvaardt, she just waits for her delivery.
Well, I think it was fantastic timing for that boundary. You mentioned, Mel, that they've been struggling to find the boundaries. Prior to that, before, in the 11th over, the last boundary was in the final over of the power play. They hit 4 boundaries in the power play. Now they've hit 5, but they've used up half their overs. And lost 3 key batters. So, I mean, how do you place this, Mel? Feeling more comfortable for the Renegades at this point?
Look, the Renegades are reasonably confident. It's interesting, you saw Matty Penner, who's just had a magnificent half-century in very, very quick time yesterday. They know that they've got some firepower to come. Wellington just drags the length back as Laura Wolvaardt comes out towards Brisbane again. But I look at this and I probably think pitch isn't a pitch that should be negating boundary shots that much. We've already seen it from Laura Wolvaardt, so the Adelaide strikers might have just missed a trick without getting a Mac or a Patterson or a McGrath in a little bit more.
We just saw the first short ball didn't get up that high, did it? The bounce is staying low.
Yeah, that delivery even to who was well back of a length, and it's probably, as it was going through, still hitting the top of the off.
This is who's 3rd over. It'll be interesting to see how the captain uses his strike bowler. I think throughout the middle period, it looks like with the field set, who will look to bang the ball into the wicket and look for that variable bounce. It's difficult to hit that down the ground.
And the lumbar arm from Josie Dooley. We saw that from Ellyse Healy yesterday against Great Tariffs for the wicket. No wicket on this occasion. It's the 11th over bowled by the Melbourne Renegades. The strikers 3 for 51.
The viewers saw that dismissal from Ellyse Healy. I wondered if it was a run out or a stumping, but it was a stumping. It was off a pace bowler. Keeper was back. Grace Harris, foot in the air after really practicing her shot again, and Healy taking the stumps. And there was a bit of blow up on the social media about it apparently as well. People thought, oh, she shouldn't have done that. And what's your opinion, Mel?
The old spirit of cricket. It's interesting, isn't it? Look, it's basically, for me, when I look at the game of cricket, is that there'll be some things that I would do and wouldn't do on the ground in terms of just my own way of playing the game, but I would never put that on any other player. So if it's in the rules, a la, and I won't call it name caddying, but running out the non-striker once you've gone into your delivery stride, would I do it? No. But it's in the rules, and you can do it, go for it, and you just call it as you see it from that side of things. So it's an interesting one. We had Ashwin, who does it from Manchester, and then Ricky Ponting's a very big one to not do it. So he went over and coached the Adelaide Capitals in the IPL recently. So those two had a conversation about it. Sophie Molyneux, the big appeal.
I think Tim Payne also, we're talking about that underarm run out from the wicketkeeper. I think he did one as well, which got a little bit of criticism. So look, the rules are changing all the time. The players are pushing the boundaries, and I think if the non-striker's looking to take off in T20 cricket, I think it's within your rights as a bowler to stop them doing that.
I think the other thing that people remember too with the running out of the non-striker is that the game, you're right, the game's changed so much where television comes into play with these millimetres for run-outs. Whether they're in or out, there's so much on the line, which is when the rule first came in and the spirit of cricket and everything this was with Brad back in the day sort of thing. So the game has changed, and so many other things need to change with it. That's maybe closer.
Well, third time lucky maybe for Molyneux. That was 2 pretty good LBW shouts on Stefani Taylor. Oh, that one was close. It got a little bit of turn just to straighten enough. Umpire not interested.
I think Stefani Taylor's done well just to sort of shove the right pad, sorry, the left pad outside the line after she got struck. So short fine out of play. That's Courtney Webb's just running across, and it goes for the gap where Courtney Webb was before that delivery.
It's time to join cricket's choke up. After 9 months, men in blue will lock horns with Australia. Start on 27th November, 8 AM onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
The dead man is risen! You will rest in peace.
World Cup in 2017 with referrals as well. In the warm-up game in that World Cup, I got a dismissal where I walked off and the fielder had just sort of come forward and she scooped it up, and as I was walking off I thought, did she actually catch that? And it made me think, right, during the World Cup proper, when there is that technology, I'm going to make the umpire dismiss me. If there is any doubt, I'm just going to wait for the finger to go up to dismiss me, because there are times when the ball might be grassed or there's a little bit of doubt, and you know the technology is there. So it actually caused an interesting moment for me where I stood my ground, waited to be dismissed when it appeared that I was bowled. So I was facing Catherine Brunt against England and Sarah Taylor at the stumps, up to the stumps, and I heard the stumps go and the bails rattle, and I thought, oh, I'm gone. And then the way that Sarah Taylor celebrated, and then she said, she sort of went, yeah, and then, oh, like that. And I thought, oh, she's unsure of what's happened. And I wondered if her gloves had taken the bails.
Yep. There she goes. Wow, what a shot that was. The most glorious shots from Laura Wolvaardt today. One from Tahuu straight back over the umpire's head, and then this one off Ella Hayward.
Yeah, the dot ball's just creeping up, and Wolvaardt looking to release the pressure with an outstanding 6-over cover, and that's the shot that most of the WBBL players have elected that they would choose if it was the Meg Lanning flick for 6 off the legs or the Alyssa Healy 6-over cover. Most people choose the 6-over cover.
Yeah.
Just to finish off that story, I looked back and Sarah Taylor looked to have some doubt, so I thought, no, I'm just going to wait to be dismissed, and the umpires actually referred it to check if the gloves of the keeper had come into play. They hadn't, and I had to go.
So you were out bowled?
I was out bowled, but we had team referrals, and you know, I didn't actually have to use one to get the technology to come into play by simply standing my ground and waiting to be dismissed, and I was happy to leave.
Once pulled to mid-wicket.
Yeah, if the umpires weren't sure, obviously Square Leg thought there was enough doubt to get the video replay to check. But it was a good lesson for me, just to let the umpires dismiss you.
On Sony, cricket will reveal its true colour. The card is a ball, after 9 months, men will lock horns with their fiercest rival Australia. The rivalry will start on 27th November, 8 AM onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
I think we've just got to remember that umpiring is an exceptionally difficult job out in the middle. More times than not, they get it right. Lovely. Yeah. Got what it deserved, really. If she can hit a 6-over cover off the off spinner coming back into her like she did before, that should go to the boundary every day of the week.
Yeah, low full toss here. Wolvaardt says thank you very much. Doesn't walk one step. She knew it was 4 off the bat. Why not? Fast hands.
Yeah.
Wonderful bat swing.
It's just chipped. Didn't have control of that one, Wolvaardt.
So for Wolvaardt, it seems to be that the leg side has been protected. Now, for Taylor, the car goes back, mid-off comes up. So perhaps they don't feel that, or the Renegades don't feel that Taylor can hit as freely down the ground. So one of the drives has come up.
Yeah, I think when she gets any width outside off stump, Taylor she's happy to sort of sit on the back foot too and sort of back foot drive and punch through the offside. She isn't as expansive down the ground on the offside, I don't think, so they're just giving themselves a little bit of protection there. Sophie Molyneux down below us, tidies up.
Well, we've seen the 3 wickets to fall have been players looking to go down the ground, and they haven't quite got the execution, hitting not quite the elevation that they've wanted.
Toss straight into that cover sweeper we were talking about.
So, yeah, with the slower wicket, that driving has become challenging. I still think the best way forward for the batters is to look to hit the straight pockets, so toward the side screen, towards that straight mid-wicket gap. And once they're set, being able to give up their stumps and look to hit through the up offside.
Undertaker, a dead man, whom we love more than fear.
What the world heavyweight championship?
Relive the Undertaker's 30 unbelievable years every night at 8 p.m.
The cover flashing sort of slash drive like Ellyse and Healy does, or just the classical piercing gap with precision for 4.
Oh, you could put a few in there, I reckon, Al. Could you? Okay.
Now, what shot would you like to play? I never could.
The forward defence. You see Leeson back in. It's on the legs. Blows, tidies up for the single. The form that Laura commences in at the moment, the last 3 knocks she scored 104 runs off 44 deliveries at a strike rate of 236. So I'm tipping there'll be a few half decent
Shots in there.
Oh,
Or she played one neither of us had seen before yesterday.
it's a crazy shot.
We have to expand our vocabulary to describe what's going on. This is a good shot from Stefani Taylor, making blows do the work out at deep square leg. I used to love watching Renee Farrell do that walk across scoop. So when I scooped or ramped, I needed to stay dead still. She can do it on the move. I think like a Dilshan did that as well. Or actually a better one would be Brendan McCullum, bowling to Sean Tate in New Zealand, and he ramped. Fastest bowler in the world for a couple of sixes, one of which should have been a wide outside off stump. He found a way to scoop that ball 6 over the keeper.
Catch that. Brilliant. Fantastic reactions there from Carly Leeson. Came back like a tracer bullet, kept her cool, got her hands around it, and the skipper and the Renegades will be happy to see the back of Laura Wolvaardt.
Tour score 27 November. Australian media here thinks that the men in blue stand no chance.
time to show cricket's true colour. After 9 months, men in blue will lock horns with their fiercest rival. This rivalry is starting on 27th November, 18 onwards, only on Sony Sports channels. So show cricket's true colour and roar.
WBBL cricket in the grand final last year against the Brisbane Heat. Made it a contest without that 50. Being very one-sided. Making Penner is idolising the way that Amanda Jade can come in and get a 50 in quick time. Penner did that yesterday for the Strikers, and without that 50 they would have been in big trouble.
They've got Pennock to come in next, and then Tegan McFarlane, who's been in good form in the last couple of games for the Adelaide Strikers with the bat. And 5 overs to go here for the Adelaide Strikers. And then 4 for 74.
It's time to show cricket's true colour. After 9 months, men in blue will lock horns with Australia starting 27th November, 8 AM onwards, on your Sony Sports Network.
Summer to remember. Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. Only on Sony 6.
Or convinces someone who used to be that person. Get a few balls and absolutely bomb them. She's done that so well, she's now been elevated. She's batting at 5 for the Brisbane Heat now. But she's still translating that style, not going into her shell if she's still got more balls to face, which is a really good sign.
Molly Strano gives that some flight. Amy Satterthwaite's got a little bit of work to do across to her left.
I think we spoke about the outfielders. You see Amy Satterthwaite as captain at the long off boundary doing some work there. You know, probably not the quickest in the outfield, but the Melbourne Renegades have lost 2 key outfielders in Wareham and Brown. That really does disrupt your flow as a skipper, knowing where your fielders are normally going, and everyone has to sort of get into slightly different positions halfway through the tournament.
Yep.
And that's a quick adjustment you need to make. So at training, I'm sure they're all looking to, yes, practice their key position, but make sure they're ready to go if they have to be slightly out of position.
Just holds back on that Stephanie Taylor, and the last minute opens up the hands, opens up the offside as well. Wonderful shot.
Just a teasing shot through the offside for the fielders, 2 of them. It was Lee and Yates chasing the ball, and it just kept going further away from them. Wonderful shot from Stephanie Taylor. It's great to see her back from injury. I'm sure the Strikers will be pleased. They're finals contention, but a big blow without Susie Bates, of course. Unfortunately, that shoulder needs some medical attention.
That'll be picked up by Amy Satterthwaite. So Wellington on strike to Strano. Just a subtle change in the field. There's Ella Hayward now coming across to a short fine leg from the offside.
Do you think she goes a reverse sweep?
Side field just squares up a little bit.
Maybe in anticipation.
Oh, she does. Gets a little bit on it, probably.
Mind reader. Or I've just watched a lot of
you just watched a lot of Amanda Jade Wellington. 7 runs taken off the Strano over by Taylor so far. She looked to go big to finish off 16th. Square leg coming a bit straighter. She'll keep the strike, Stefani Taylor. At the start of the next over with that single. It's a good one there for the strikers. They move to
On Sony, cricket will reveal its true colours. दिखा दे सबको हाँ अपना रंग है हिंदुस्तान निकले नीला हाँ अपना रंग है हिंदुस्तान Cricket's true colour. After 9 months, men in blue will lock horns with their fiercest rival Australia. The rivalry will start on 27th November 8 AM onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
It's pretty good. Can't complain.
What would be a total from here that you'd be after?
I think it'd be really nice to get to 120, 130. I think that's defendable, especially with our bowling attack.
What was the chat coming into this game about the importance of getting the win with finals a week away now?
I think we didn't try stress on that too much. I mean, any win's important, so we were just going to come out and be brave and try and do as well as we can.
I've just discovered you live with Maitland Brown and Maddie Penner down in Canberra. What's that like?
Interesting household. There's 5 of us in the one house. But yeah, no, it's good.
Very good. Is Maitland going to be whinging as she recovers from her hamstring surgery?
Yeah, well, I'm a physio, so I can imagine that there might be a little bit of work from my end too.
Very good. Thanks for your time. Good luck today.
Alright, thank you.
the physio count in the WBBL. Just grows every year, I think. That should be out, and it's not. In and out from Lee and Sophie. Melbourne Renegades had hardly put a foot wrong so far as they edged their way into the 17th over. Taylor is not the one you want to give a second chance to. Oh, is that salt in the wound, or is it another chance? It is another chance, and it hasn't cost them at all because Molly Strano takes the catch. Leah Tahuhu thought she might have turned to Leeson straight away, but I think she's going to go to Molly Strano first and say thank you. As the Renegades pick up the 5th striker's wicket.
Well, that was fun.
From Death Valley, look at the size of that! 320 pounds, looks to be 6'9", 6'10". Undertaker's expression has never changed. He just got nailed with a tombstone.
First is 144 so far in the WBBL. I don't think this oldish wicket is playing as bad as people think. They're going to need a couple of massive overs here, the strikers.
Sets herself up straight away, Wellington, by moving across the crease. Yeah, it's an interesting one for the strikers too, because they'll come in, they've won the bat flip, if they're elected to have a bat. And there's probably got sort of almost 2 targets in mind or scores. One is what they think they should be able to get on this wicket against this bowling attack. Drew up. There we go. Leeson is having a field day at the moment here at the Sydney Showground. Firstly, the wicket of Taylor in this over, and then the wicket of Wellington.
Well, she's just continuing to show her value in WBBL cricket. Carly Leeson, she started off at the Sydney Sixers. She's found her place at the Melbourne Renegades. She's opened the batting, she's opened the bowling. She's picking up wickets late in the innings. 2 in 1 over. Outstanding. And this is exactly where they need wickets. They can't afford... The Melbourne Renegades do not want a flurry of boundaries. They've done such a good job to restrict the Adelaide strikers. 6 for 87. That wicket of Wellington brings Tegan McFarlane to the crease. She's also someone who's also skippered this team. as well. So great leadership qualities as well.
McFarlane settles herself in. Lisa with 2 wickets so far. Just over alone. It's a great over there for the Melbourne Renegades. They pick up their 5th and 6th wicket in that over. And 6 for 88.
Used to get those 2 dismissals. When you think about people who do that well, Megan Shute for Australia. Yep. Someone, in the death overs you think Yorkers, but you can also bowl these really difficult slow balls. The one that goes away from the right-hander is more challenging than the off-cutter slow ball that goes into the arc of the right-hander's swing.
Sets herself up early to go to the onside. Blows pushed it wide through the off. And so just changed her mind at the last second and said no problems.
There you go, Tegan McFarlane on her way. She's been handy. She's been around a long time, playing for the South Australian Scorpions as well. Great innovation there. A ramp over her right shoulder.
She's probably going to get a few more than that. Average 7 deliveries by the number 7. What can she do with them? Now brings Henna on strike.
What do you think the strikers need? I mean, they've got a fantastic bowling attack.
Well, that was the other, sort of getting to that. Remember, we said, what do they need? And then all of a sudden you look at the opposition and you go, what's the form of the opposition like? Do we try and keep pushing and pushing and pushing to get to 140? Not that I'm saying they will from this point. And then lose wickets trying to get there when really they probably think they might only need 130 against the Melbourne Renegades.
Well, I think they could defend 130 against any team because of the quality of their bowling attack. You've got the leading wicket taker of the tournament, Sarah Coit, and you've got the most economical bowler of the tournament, Darcie Brown, who has also taken a fair few wickets herself.
3 bowlers in the top 10. In terms of wicket takers, she struck that nicely. Bye-bye.
How about that? Maddie Penner. What a shot. First scoring shot, it's a 6. This is how she rolls. Just a really solid base, wonderful foundation to swing those arms, and it's really almost like a check swing in the end.
It shows that she's got the classical cover drive in her armoury as well. That, though, is a dot. 11 runs coming from that McKinley blows over. Penner to the crease, and all of a sudden everyone's just sitting up, paying a little bit more attention. 1 short of the 100 here, the strikers, 6 for 99 after the 18th.
Well, that was the most expensive over for the Melbourne Renegades. A wonderful ramp shot from McFarlane and then a 6 over mid-wicket from Penner. If they can get a couple more of these, get their team up to 120. Could even get a 15 off these last 2 overs. Add 30 to the score, get their team to 130. It would be a good effort, but the form of these two, I mean, these two have been the form batters really for the the Adelaide Strikers the last couple of matches.
Yeah, for sure. No protection on the offside boundary for Molly Strano. As they're running between wickets, these two. Penner's in and out, settle for 1. Will they keep the same field now that Penna's on strike?
I would look to try and give Penna as much strike at this point, and I think Tegan McFarlane is a really good team person and understands her role, yes, to look for the boundary, and if it's not a boundary it will be one. Penna, not the quickest between wickets, has had a couple of knee issues. I think she's had an ACL reconstruction not too long ago. Great to see her back from that.
So the 100 up for the Adelaide Strikers. And Amy Satterthwaite pushes back to the long off boundary. And Chip has probably got a little bit too much on it to allow McFarlane back for the second.
Pleased to say that Maddie Penna is a New South Wales player originally, from Bankstown, played a lot of cricket, played a few games against her at my club universities. And Bankstown Cricket Club have been so strong for many, many years.
It's been brilliant in terms of their pathway.
Erin Burns from that club as well, Corinne Hall originally. Isha Guer even played for Bankstown.
Oh, shout out to Ish. She'll be watching over in Perth in
She's
quarantine.
in quarantine, isn't she? The Marty Banky.
Teresa McGregor, she played it?
Yes, yep. And it's a wonderful cricket ground, Bankstown Oval too.
It is, yeah.
Nice to see a bit more WBBL cricket played there. Getting a lot of use out of the Sydney venues, obviously in this tournament. Everything in Sydney due to COVID.
Had a couple of handy male players too, didn't they?
The War Brothers.
Yeah. That's nicely played. Satterthwaite, as we mentioned, not the quickest across the boundary line, but even one of the quickest might not have got there either. Wonderful placement.
Just wondering how much confidence a Maddie Penna gleans from having Charlotte Edwards in the coaching staff, and Charlotte's got big raps on Maddie Penna, and no doubt pumps her tyres up a little bit, telling her, you know, you can do this, you can break a game open, and that's what she's doing.
It goes big again, finds the gap, showing everybody watching the WBBL that Maddie Penna's got shots to both sides of the field.
I mean, she really came in at the bowler with the Melbourne Stars, a slow sort of front of the hand spinner, leggy you would really say, and she did the damage. She was very hard to get away, had a really good breakout season with the ball last year, and now it's really with the bat, isn't it, for the Adelaide Strikers.
So 3 singles to start this Strano over, and then all of a sudden, bang bang, back-to-back boundaries. So another 11 runs coming off the previous over. That was McKinley blows, and 11 runs so far off this Molly Strano over. It should be 12. 12 runs coming from the second last over of the Adelaide Strikers innings. They move to 6 for 111.
On Sony, cricket will reveal its true color. It's time to show cricket's true color. After 9 months, men in blue will lock horns with their fiercest rival Australia. The rivalry will start on 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards. Only on Sony Sports Network.
Get her away for a big over.
It'll be interesting to see what Tegan McFarlane does for the first ball. I think you're completely right, Al. Her first point of call is how do I find a boundary against Sophie Molyneux? Where's the field placements? Where's my strength shots? Where's she going to bowl it? Can I get myself into a position where I can bring my boundary shot in? And if all of those fail, how can I find the gaps? I might get 2, but if anything, let's get Penna on strike. Boundary first. She goes for the boundary first. She doesn't just go for the 4, she goes for the monster. That's going to be the biggest 6 we have seen here at the Sydney Showground in the WBBL this year.
I'm just wondering, Maddie Penna, how much does she draw on that experience of being hit for 5 sixes by Sophie Devine at Karen Holton Oval? She's got 1. How many can she get in this final over for the Adelaide Strikers? That's a huge blow.
That has gone back 7 rows, I think. Josie Dooley, yep, it's big. Well, I'll come back. Now, I do think, though, just back yourself again. Just go again.
Molyneux just dragged the leg back. It was
She did.
a wonderful piece of bowling. Very smart from Molyneux.
Over the offside just. Yates running back on it.
Excellent running, putting the pressure on Yates in the field. A little bit of a fumble there. Allowed Penner to get back on strike. So crucial at this part of the innings. Can Penner find that boundary again? Or the grandstand, perhaps?
Oh, that's dragged right back. I think it's going to fall safely. And the disappointing thing there was that Penner straight away thought, oh, she's out, or that she just hadn't got hold of it, and just sort of jogged through the first one. And we've already seen a couple of little fumbles from the Renegades on the ground. So I think she's could have almost potentially missed an opportunity of getting back on strike. You can just see her there, disappointed with herself. Still just jogging through.
Partnership worth 33 so far between these two.
Across the crease, gets down on the knee, sweeps. Ellyse tidies up. So Sophie Molyneux got hit for one of the biggest sixes of the WBBL this season from ball one, and then she's fought back. It was a dot, a two, and then two singles. Can she finish it off here for the Melbourne Renegades? The strikers on 121 with one ball to go. That's hit nicely, it's dropped. And they'll get the single. And with that single through, the Adelaide strikers have put on 122. The Melbourne Renegades, I think, will be pretty happy with their
against the Sydney Thunder here last night. It was wonderful to see Molyneux striking the ball. She got 22 off 18. Caught it long on against the body of similar style bowler, Sam Bates.
The interesting thing was that Sophie Molyneux just didn't say no. It's a comfortable single. You're watching her and, you know, there's all these gorgeous, there's heaps of time for Sophie Molyneux. Even if she was looking at Lee thinking she might be calling here just to be proactive. But it was just that, she's called it. I'll go through, run through.
Well, it seems to me that they're looking for those quick singles. Molyneux out of the blocks for first single off her own bat.
It's a very typical Lee shot.
The bowlers always think they're in the game. Lizelle, such an aggressive player, likes the crossbat shot to the leg side. She rarely misses them. She's always giving the bowlers a sniff, isn't she?
Shooting into the left-handed Molyneux. It's in the air. They're going to go for another single. They'll make this one comfortably.
I'm really happy to see this from Sophie Molyneux. The intent looks fantastic. She's been under pressure. Her best efforts so far in the tournament are 39 off 38. She looks like she's switched on today.
To start, Megan shoots first over and the run chase for the Melbourne Renegades. 5 of them coming from the first.
It's time to talk.
Do you ever do it, Al?
Interesting skill set, isn't she?
Well, she had her mouth open for that one. She can sing with her mouth shut.
I've heard also she's won an award for her artistic talents. Design in Canberra. Well done to Nathan Brown. It's a tough time for her with her recent hamstring surgery. Hopefully she gets back on the path as soon as possible. I'm sure she'll focus on her creative efforts during recovery.
That's Brown. That's the shot that we were talking about from Lizelle Lee. Just drags it outside of stump. Speaking of awards, a little birdie told me that someone in the commentary box picked up it's an award name after them of late. Have you got news to tell us, Alex Blackwell?
Yeah, it was a wonderful moment where UNSW, the uni I went to and I've represented in cricket for many, many years. An award to recognise people who are breaking down barriers for women and girls to participate in sport. So I'll look forward to seeing the nominees.
So it's called the Alex Blackwell Award?
Award, yes. Yes, so outstanding. Yeah, thanks, Matt. I guess all that time, sort of really that voluntary role at club cricket, which I know you do as well. It's such important work, our volunteers in club cricket. We know that there's a wave of young girls coming through playing in Sydney, the Sixers and Thunder Girls Cricket League.
It's just chopped past McFarlane. Patterson does well.
What we want to see is that translate to greater numbers and depth in women's premier cricket in Sydney, because we haven't seen that move too much over time. So as that wave of young interested cricketers coming through get to 15, 16, we want to see them translate into Premier cricket.
Yeah. Well, Lizelle Lee has been watching Laura Wolvaardt and just copied her perfectly.
Well, Lizelle Lee, is she back? Just the check drive, punchy shot, all the way for 6. Off the bat, it sounded beautiful.
Is there a nicer sound going around?
I don't think so. I think bowlers would say it's the rattle of the stumps, wouldn't they?
Well, they probably would, wouldn't they? That's probably, yeah, an indication of what I did in the game. Oh, yeah, that sounded good too. Didn't get the 6, but gets the 4.
Oh, an expensive over for Brown.
On Sony, cricket will reveal its true colour. After 9 months, MLRW will lock horns with their fiercest rival, Australia. The rivalry will start on 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
Someone to remember, Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. Only on Sony 6.
Comes out.
Isn't it frustrating, Mel? We've seen this time and time again at the showground. I think that you can see that they've got some makeshift board around the other side of the venue to try and stop this ball going underneath. And it's an expensive effort because those balls aren't cheap.
No, they're not. I was chatting to Jodie Hawkins, the GM of the Sydney Sixers, yesterday, and she said there's quite a bit of money under these stands at the moment because the amount of balls there.
And as well, the logo, the Walkabout Wickets logo was printed on the Kookaburra ball, so that would have added a little cost, I would say. So there's some precious inventory underneath the stand.
So 4 off the last ball of Darcie Brown's over. Megan Shute now has the pill back in her hand. And we're bowling to Sophie Molyneux. 3 inside the circle behind point. Oh, that's well bowled. A chance of a stumping. Molyneux just quick enough to get back.
Yeah, just jammed down on the ball there, Molyneux. Didn't quite know where the ball had finished up. Tegan McFarlane quickly removes the bails, but Molyneux safely back in.
A bit of last way you'd like to go out when you haven't quite got the amount of runs under the belt that you would like within the competition so far. Gets on the hip, just falls short of Taylor. She can't take it cleanly, so a single to Molyneux.
So the left-hand, right-hand combination forcing a lot of movement in the field. Looks like Megan Shute bowling to a 5-4 field to the right-handed Lee, and a 6-3 field to the left-handed Molyneux. I'm just missing her run up there. Or was she trying to keep Molyneux in the crease? Maybe that's her first warning.
Well, I don't think Molyneux had actually left the crease. I think she just, landed landed a bit funnily. Decided to pull out of the delivery rather than follow through.
Fantastic slow ball there from Megan Shute. Knows Lizelle Lee is coming hard at the ball. She's on 14. Not out. Hit a couple of fantastic boundaries already. Such a challenge for the fast bowlers.
It's nicely driven. We've seen the power from Lizelle Lee down the ground and with the pull shot, and now we've just seen pure timing.
Well, I'm really happy for Lizelle. She's just been not quite herself in the tournament so far. Ordinarily, she's an opening batter when we see her return to that role for the Renegades today. She did that last night as well, but she had been drop down the order just to find some form.
Change of pace there from Megan Shute. Well, it's a completely different start for Megan Shute from the game the other day, because when she took 3 for 7, that 7 equalled the lowest amount of runs conceded in WBBL history for 4 overs.
Great areas. Classy bowler, isn't she, Megan Shute?
That she is. 3 overs bowled here at the Sydney Show round 2, the Melbourne Renegades. They're none for 24. This is the start that they were looking for, trying to chase down the Adelaide strikers. 122. So 99 needed from 102 deliveries. There's the power straight down the ground. Yes, there's some timing in it as well. Then drags the length back and pulls powerfully off the front foot through square. And then the classical cover drive to finish things off.
So I think Lee at the top of the order is the best place for her to bat, and she's such an intimidating prospect for the bowlers. She's coming out to bat with Sophie Molyneux, left-hand, right-hand combination. I think this is the right combination for the Melbourne Renegades.
Talia McGrath. Little cutter to start with, and that's really nicely timed and placed by Sophie Molyneux. Well, we've seen power from one end from Lee, and we've seen touch from Molyneux at the other.
And what we have seen from Molyneux is her urgency and her intent with the singles to get herself into her innings. Wonderful piece of cricket here, just using the pace of Talia McGrath. I like the look of this partnership, it's forming nicely.
Pulled straight to mid-wicket.
Just kept low. Sophie Molyneux doing well there. Eyes on the ball, reacting to that slightly lower bounce than she was expecting. Good signs though, looking for that intent again. If it pitches a little bit short, she's looking to be aggressive.
Yeah, looking for that little late glide through the third area. You can see Megan Shute's employed a cover and a mid-wicket that are reasonably straight, but they're tight. They're looking to ensure that they can place a little bit more pressure on Sophie Molyneux. Up and over and past McGrath, not past Stefani Taylor.
What's interesting to me with the field set against Sophie Molyneux, she played a 4 first ball of the over, and the 2 points are positioned quite square, so it's almost to me that they're looking for Sophie Molyneux to just glide one a bit too fine and maybe get a nick in that way. She has wafted a few shots unsuccessfully outside off. Deep cover and deep backward square for Lee.
On the legs past McFarlane. Boundary for Lee.
Well, you just can't bowl on the legs of Lee. You can see that left hand, right hand, just challenging the lines for the wonderful all-rounder Talia McGrath. Lee picks off that leg glance, beautiful shot.
Gets on the legs again this time. Wellington tidies up. 9 runs coming from the first over of Talia McGrath. Melbourne Renegades.
अब देश का हर बच्चा कोडिंग सीखेगा, एप्स बनाएगा और दुनिया बदलेगा. Book a free coding class on whitehatjunior.com. On Sony, cricket will reveal its true color. दिखा दे सबको अपना रंग है हिंदुस्तान. निकले नीला अपना रंग है हिंदुस्तान. अपना रंग है हिंदुस्तान. It's time to show its true color. After 9 months, Melrw will go on with their fiercest rival Australia. The final game will start on 27th November, 8 AM onwards. Only on Sony Sports Network.
Commanding position, 90 runs required off 96 balls.
Leading wicket taker of the tournament comes in, Sarah Coit, and she's come in and she's been dispatched straight away. That is the Sophie Molyneux that we've been used to seeing over the last couple of years.
Well, that's a statement, isn't it? Leading wicket taker, 4 off the first ball. Beautiful batting. Molyneux looking more and more comfortable at the crease. I wonder what sort of conversations she might have had overnight with her coach and with her captain. She's really turned up today in a different mindset, it seems.
On the back foot, no, she's got some space to work with through the cover area.
Wonderful running. A 4 and then a quick single. That's really impressed me today from Sophie Molyneux, her ability to get quick singles. And I think with Lizelle Lee at the other end, and when you're under pressure yourself in your own form, you've got a hitter at the other end who's so far looking fantastic. Give her as much strike as possible.
Deep mid-wicket and long on in play for Lee. So she goes long off instead. They're in a mood at the moment, aren't they, Lee and Molyneux?
Well, we talked about that the Renegades need an absolute miracle to make the semi-finals from this point. They're currently bottom of the table, not many matches left. It's only one way. They can only go one way. They must win, and they must win well. So it seems to me a clarity of approach with the batting today. Of course, they will need other results to go their way, and they can't control that.
So they're going for the miracle in this win, is what you're saying?
They need to win every game from here by a big margin. So if they don't give up today, then it's all over.
It's a simple equation.
Sometimes when your back's against the wall that much, it makes things very straightforward.
Completely.
So I think there's been a wonderful statement already against Coit, the leading wicket taker. Already 2 boundaries in this first over from her, and then Brown, who is the most economical in the competition, going for 14 in her first over. That's a real statement from the Renegades batters.
It's a little adjustment of the stumps. Slower ball. Yeah, it's really well played, Lizelle Lee. We know she likes to get down on that front leg, and particularly the seamers working for the onside, but just reached a little bit more to get it nice and fine and find the boundary.
Undertaker, attend them. Relive the Undertaker's 13 unbelievable years every night at 8 PM. On Phenom, only on Sony 10-1 or Hindi Sony 10-3B.
Started with a lovely off drive by Sophie Molyneux, and then she handed it over to Lizelle Lee, stand and deliver, and then this one to finish things.
Minimal footwork, isn't it, from Lizelle Lee? She's just looking to pick off any error in line or length. She did that well here with the sweep, just standing so stable. Really getting the broomstick out to sweep that one.
And the start for the Melbourne Renegades means that with some batting smarts, they can manipulate the field. If the ball isn't quite in their hitting zone, they're happy to get up and down the wicket. And then if that keeps transpiring, they'll certainly be well ahead. That'll push the Adelaide strikers into searching for something, and then they can find loose balls.
Well, historically, with the head-to-head, they've won 5 each, so it's been a very close contest over the years.
Just watching the Melbourne Renegades bench as well, it's interesting to see how teams are when they haven't had a lot of success throughout a tournament, been quite vocal. Still searching for singles if they can't find the boundary.
The field set quite interesting here. Ellyse so powerful down the ground. The drives are up. It's deep in wicket, deep backward square. So shoot, obviously not looking to pitch the ball up. The keeper is up, keeping Lizelle in the crease. Excellent bowling.
She wants to do a couple of things here. They can shoot because there's 11 runs taken from the first of Sarah Coit's over, so she'll want to try and balance that over out with a decent economical over. There's only just 2 singles in it so far with 2 deliveries to go. It is also the last over of the power play. Chance to pick up one Renegades wicket. I guess there'll be a decent cheer from the Renegades group if Lee and Molyneux can get through the 6 overs unscathed and even pick up another single for the 50-run opening partnership. Huge gap to the onside through square mid-wicket. That's Lee's favourite shot, and that's brilliant work. Tidying that one up. It is the end of the power play, and the 50 comes up for the Melbourne Renegades. They move to none for 51 after 6.
Melrw is an absolute savage.
Let their take second place. Up with the men, guns blazing, and knock him out.
Out for Brent on fire. Balance position, Jacobs standard is women's flyweight division. He does that good. Another outstanding showcase for the UFC's flyweight division tonight.
UFC 255. Vicky Reddo vs. Renegades. Live and exclusive on Sony 10.2 and Sony 10.1. And in Hindi on Sony 10.3.
Up much higher than that. Lee takes it for 4 and away goes the ball under the grandstand. Beautiful cover drive as well. It's not all brute force for Lizelle Lee. She's got some terrific finesse as well. Great placement. And how about this finesse from Sophie Molyneux, just using the timing and the pace. Excellent balance at the crease. She's been busy today.
Certainly has been. Stefani Taylor's going to come into the attack the first over outside the power play, so Megan Shute has the ability to use 2 more fielders outside the inner circle. Stefani Taylor got a nickname of Golden Arm at the Sydney Thunder because he threw the ball. She often got a wicket.
Yeah, absolutely. She was someone you could rely on to get you a wicket, tie down an end. She's been actually quite expensive in WBBL 06. So just maybe trying to find her rhythm after return from injury. She was actually really toward the end of her time with us at the Sydney Thunder more valuable with the ball than the bat. We saw her sort of come down the order. Previously has opened for the Thunder in the first year, and then became more of a middle order option for us. And, the off spin that she provides. I do look back and sometimes I underbowled her really. Sometimes that's difficult. You go into a game with 7 or 8 bowling options, and good bowlers can miss out. Must have got a little bit of head on that one. No wide given. Henna for the single.
Megan Shoot had a couple of options to go to, particularly if she was looking at taking the pace off the ball. So Stefani Taylor was given particular approval, but also have Amanda Jade Wellington and Maddie Penner as well. In needing a wicket, are you surprised that she didn't go to, say, a Wellington before a Taylor?
Yeah, I am. I'm surprised also that bringing the leg spinner in is an attacking move. And if you don't bring her in now, when do you bring her in? To break a partnership, we've seen Coit and Brown both in their first overs go big. Yeah, Amanda Jade Wellington might go big in her first over, but she also might bring 1 or 2 wickets in that over. So, yeah, looking to go with the more conservative option perhaps with Stefani Taylor, who has done a wonderful job. She stemmed the flow of scoring with just 3 runs off that over.
That's right, if you've just joined us, the Strikers won the bat flip and had a bat first here at the Sydney Showground. 122 put on the board. Wolvaardt played some glorious shots. If you haven't seen the highlights, check them out. 36 from 40. And then Maddie Penner, one of the longest bombs of the WBBL so far, I think. 26 not out of just 13 pills. She was impressive indeed. And in return, the Melbourne Renegades, none for 54 after 7 overs. Speaking of Wellington,
so looks like Megan Shoot's thinking aggressively, getting the leg spinner in. And what we can't tell, Mel, from up here is the wind direction. We can tell the boundary size, so we can see that Amanda Jade Wellington bowling to the right-hander in lead at this point has a larger leg side boundary to bowl to, because the wicket block, we're playing on a strip that's more towards the south as we are looking down the pitch at the moment. Actually, my direction at this venue isn't great.
say it with confidence, Al.
Yeah.
There is a breeze
Left
coming
north.
across the ground.
So I was right. Point being, she's bowling to the bigger leg side field. And also the direction of the wind is really important for both spinners, really. Wellington bowling to 3 fielders on the leg side to Molyneux.
Oh, nice from Sophie Molyneux. Won't find the boundary, it'll just be the single. But even shots like that, I think will give Sophie Molyneux more and more confidence out in the middle.
Well, Sophie can play a match-winning innings here by simply playing good, solid cricket shots, keeping her run range, around that runner ball. She's over it at the moment, 22 not out of 20. So she's doing a good job, and Lizelle Lee going at a much faster rate, seeing the boundaries. She's just deceived there by Amanda Jade Wellington coming down the pitch. The ball kept drifting into her legs. Fortunate for Lizelle Lee, she didn't miss that one completely.
There's an art to it, isn't it, when you realise you've missed the ball with the bat, that you've just got to get something on it. Make sure it doesn't get through to the keeper. Oh, again, sounded good, went straight for the fielder at deep mid-wicket, and all they could do was watch it sail over the top.
What a way to finish the over for the Melbourne Renegades. It had been quiet for the first 5 deliveries, and then a big 6 to finish it off. Lizelle Lee.
It's time to your cricket stroke after 9 months. Men in blue will lock horns with Australia. Start on 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards. Only on Sony Sports Network.
Summer to remember. Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. Only on Sony 6.
It's good to watch when you're not playing against it.
I bet it is. 3 runs off Taylor's first. So can they find some bowling partnerships here, the Adelaide Strikers? vice versa. Been the struggle for Megan Shute to try and tie these two down. Let's look at how when you get on the legs, it's pretty much cued it to be a bit wicked.
She certainly did. She needs to get the chalk out and cue that up. So a good blade, obviously. The ball is absolutely pinged off her bat today. A few people in to watch as well.
Doesn't quite get over cover. And if anyone is going to take a little bit of a blinder.
It was a wonderful effort, wasn't it, from Laura Wolvaardt?
Saw her during the World Cup. Took some absolute crackers inside the inner circle.
Such a key point. Key position at point.
Yeah, on the legs again. Dangerously there, Stefani Taylor.
We saw an absolute ripper, one-handed grab at point, and that's Siva against a reverse sweep from Tammy Beaumont at that position on this venue. That would have rivaled it, Mel, I think. Best catch of the tournament, Siva, point.
Look, it's up there, isn't it? Yeah, the outfielding, diving forward, I think it's one of the hardest catches in cricket, and we've seen multiple of those. Patterson, well mic'd up, Strano. As the Renegades move to none for 67, the equation now as they look up at the scoreboard, 56 from 66 balls, Molyneux to 24, Lee to 43, and this is by far the most comfortable the Melbourne Renegades have looked with bat in hand since the start of this tournament.
On Sony, cricket will reveal its true colours. दिखा दे सबको हाँ अपना रंग है हिंदुस्तान निकले नीला हाँ अपना रंग है हिंदुस्तान It's time to show cricket's true colour. After 9 months, many blue will lock horns with their fiercest rival Australia. The rivalry will start on 27th November 8 a.m. onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
Full toss, does she get hit the first ball of the over? She does, so she went for a 6 off the last ball of the last over and a 4 from the first to the next.
Letting her captain down there with a little bit of a full toss. And Lee, too good. So what can Melrw do here? She needs to get back on task.
It's that little bit straighter.
You're mentioning Richard Patterson. She's in the hot zone out there at deep mid-wicket against Lizelle Lee to the leg spinner. She'll know that. Sun in her eyes at the moment. If we can cool her jets a little bit to the left-hander Molyneux, that would be a terrific shot if it was hit out to deep cover.
Georgia Presswich, she's also had an outstanding WBBL on the field. Slog sweep, yeah, Molyneux getting on the act now as well.
Oh, it's so good to see. Molyneux is a class act, and she's been down in the dumps this WBBL with her batting. It's been a real struggle for her, and we saw some signs last night. 23 she got off 19 deliveries against the Sydney Thunder. And now she's carrying on again today.
Just catch you up to speed as well, both you, El, and everyone listening in, with the other match that's going on in the WBBL today, and that is between the Melbourne Stars and the Hobart Hurricanes. They're at the complete opposite ends of form at the moment. The Hobart Hurricanes having 2 monster losses. And they've only scored in the 80s in the last 2 games. The Melbourne Stars hitting 3 for 159. The bulk of those runs coming from Ellyse at the top of the order, 56 from 47. Annabelle Sutherland, 72 from 51 deliveries at a strike rate of 141.
Wow, Sutherland.
ground. It's back over Megan Schutt's head. She's watching it. She's taken a very nice catch indeed. She made it look simple, but it was a tough one. It had spin on it. She was looking back into the sun, and it was the wicket of Lee. Three factors made that even tougher. Well done, Megan Schutt.
Tour score 27 November. Australian media here thinks that the men in blue stand no chance.
It's time to show cricket's true colour. After 9 months, men in blue lock on to their fiercest rival. This rivalry is starting on 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards, only on Sophie Sports channels. So show cricket's true colour and roar.
Lee and Molyneux have created 77 on the board before the loss of that first wicket.
Well, it was a terrific partnership, wasn't it? An opening partnership that you would take any day. Their best power play, 77 off 60 deliveries. It's really set this game up, and middle order batters in Dooley and Webb have been really promising for the Renegades.
Full service catch out.
Well, Megan Schutt did a great job in turning and running back, trying to get those first few steps as far possible as she could into position. Rather than backtracking and backpedaling, she turned and ran.
Darcie Brown to attack. Looking for wickets here, Megan Schutt.
I like seeing Brown come back in. I was wondering how long we might wait. She's been so destructive for the Adelaide strikers, and yes, she went for a big over in the power play, but that anyone can go for runs in the power play. So Lizelle Lee gone now, new batter in, Dooley facing.
Trying to really hit the deck, back of a length, just lost her line. They cannot afford extras here, the Adelaide strikers. Every ball is going to count. Still 9 Renegades wickets to work around this run chase.
Well, it's incredible the economy rate Brown's gone for so far in the tournament, 4.8 for a fast bowler in your first year. She's also picked up 8 wickets. I think she's been very exciting. I've mentioned her on a number of occasions, and it's just a joy to be here, staring down the wicket, watching the young quick steam in.
That's aggressive batting there from Dooley. It's a different bowling approach now for Darcie Brown. Usually in the power play where she's been so impactful, she's got sort of newer pitch, the hard ball. She can come in. She's got the backing to bowl fast, attack the stumps. Now all of a sudden, with only the 1 wicket down, coming back in. 12th over, we're out to the 11th over. They're still wanting to bowl quick and get wickets, but at the same point in time, she can't get hit.
Well, what she's doing beautifully is just bowling really tight lines, bowling at good pace. She's got a sensible field set, deep third, deep fine, deep square and deep cover point. This allows her to bowl quick and straight and with a hard length. The wicket is getting tired, and so at that pace, bowling at a hard length, it will be hard to hit her down the ground, and so she can create dot balls with quite a simple plan.
It's another one of those dot balls. So just 2 runs coming from that Brown over. She comes back into the attack. There was a wide and a single. The Renegades won for 79. I'll just finish off that Melbourne Stars Hobart Hurricanes game. So the
I was so disappointed in my performance. They should have just played the package and called it a day. There's the searing pain running down my leg. That was me saying goodbye. He wasn't there, and he knew in his heart that I wasn't there.
The process became, I'll give you an answer after I'm working out for a few weeks, seeing how my hip does.
That's what he did.
Hurricanes needing 101 off 58 deliveries at a run rate of 10.45.
Against a world-class bowling attack, it's tough.
It's looking difficult, isn't it? You love a miracle, though. You're backing the Renegades.
I am
the
backing
finals.
the Renegades. Although they've stumbled in the last 2 overs, that over from Wellington, it went for 10, but it got the all-important wicket of Lee, and then Brown coming on and bowling 4 dot balls.
McGrath back into the attack, very straight field inside the inner circle. Between mid-wicket cover and mid-off and mid-on. Trying to really squeeze Josie Dooley here. She tries to get into her innings. She's 1 off 6. Once a single, Sophie Molyneux pretty much turned it back on her.
Well, she saw that it was Megan Shoot at short mid-wicket. You don't run on her. I think I did try and run on her. WNCL final, got myself run out. She's wonderful in the inner circle. Her and Sarah Coy. You've got Maddie Penner there at short cover. That's just put the squeeze on by the look of it, isn't it, Mel?
Yeah, most definitely. So they can jump in.
This opportunity, the Renegades have been looking good, but now they're just stumbling a little bit.
Good Yorker. It's like she bowls offies. It's fast offies.
Yeah.
Gets to the onside. Brings Molyneux on strike. What's probably going through Josie Dooley's mind at the moment is not only does she want to get herself into this innings, but she also wants to make sure that she can keep supporting Sophie Molyneux, who's found her way to 29 from 27. She's lost her partner in Lee, who is striking the ball nicely. So she just wants to try and keep Sophie Molyneux in this really positive headspace for the remainder of the games and the competition. Sophie Molyneux with the highest score of 39 from 38 deliveries against the Perth Scorchers, 14th.
Yeah, Molyneux's had a few starts. It's not like she's had a bad tournament. It just hasn't been able to kick on.
Yeah.
And it's possibly been that combination of Lee not scoring as an opening partner that has highlighted her length trot.
She just would have loved, so she's got scores of note 29, 23, 34, 39 and 22. You would expect a Sophie Molyneux at least 2 of those to go on and score a half century.
Well, might be the day today for Sophie. She's already got a good start. Her team is in a strong position. I don't think she needs to change too much about her approach. It's been good today. To her batting partners.
That's in the air. It's past Megan Shoot.
So important for the batting partners as they come in.
On Sony, cricket will reveal its true color. After 9 months, Lockhorns reassess rivaling Australia. The rivalry will start from 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards. Only on Sony Sports Network.
To try and chase down 122. Sounds like a small target, but it's something that the Renegades have struggled with throughout this tournament. And Lee Molyneux put on 77 for the first wicket. And it's That's nicely timed too. Penner does well.
Great fielding there from Maddie Penner. It all counts, doesn't it? It's in the balance at this point. 1 wicket. There's a real string of tight overs. Brown and brhw, Taylor.
Across the line, that's through the field. Sophie Molyneux, you like the feel of that.
Yeah, great shot. Picked up the length early. Didn't overhit it. That was a really lovely boundary for Sophie Molyneux. 34 now. Not out. She's on her way.
Brown starts again. Smartly driven straight to Coit at mid-off.
And despite the fact that that's a dot ball, I'm still really impressed with Molyneux's intent. She's not striking the ball too far out in front. She's really waiting for it. And soon enough that'll be a shot piercing the gap.
Happy to take the single. 5 runs so far from the over the boundary down the ground in the single to Molyneux. Means Dooley's got a couple of deliveries here to the gate.
And this is where Shoot, as the captain, senses they can get a few dot balls on Dooley. The fielder's just squeezing ever so slightly.
It's comfortably played there by Josie Dooley. Delivery to go, Molyneux on strike, 35-43 is the equation. That's a nice shot too. Stefani Taylor has got too much work to do. Molyneux with that boundary moves to the equal highest score in the WBBL this season. So why wouldn't you throw the ball to Sarah Coit?
I think you have to, Mel. I mean, she's been the most destructive in terms of wickets taken by any bowler in this competition. This is the time you need a wicket. You probably want the wicket of Molyneux. She's been the rock of the run chase so far. So important. 39 not out off 34. Dooley struggling a little bit. 3 out of 10. I think the key for Sarah Coit, she keeps things so simple. She just is on the spot at that knee roll length with subtle changes of pace, and you can see that they're only utilising 3 outfielders. No, spoke too soon. Third man being pushed back to the rope. So, important job for the infield to get the dots.
Innovation of Dooley. She wants the second on the yarn. It's a good decision.
Fantastic cricket shot. If it's in your game, this is a great time to play it. The keeper is up, the fielders are back. At fine leg and third man, they're quite wide. So if you can get it straight enough, it's at least going to be 2. It could even be 4.
That's Sky. It hasn't got all of it. Should be taken. Is this the turning point here for the Adelaide strikers? Dooley really couldn't get into her innings, tried to hit her way out of it. And Sarah Coit, as she does so often, comes into the attack and makes something happen.
Tour score 27 November. Australian media here thinks that the men in blue stand no chance.
9 months, men in blue will lock horns with their fiercest rival. This rivalry is starting on 27th November, 8 a.m. onwards, only on Sony Sports channels. So show cricket's true color and roar.
Full toss, drilled down the ground. Needs to come in and has just misjudged it slightly. Sarah Coyte not overly impressed. It's Katie Mack, absolute whippet across the ground, but it felt as if she's going around the boundary rather than straight in.
Looked like, just looking to cut off the boundary. If she had come directly forward, might have had a chance. Maybe she's just shinned that delivery. It would have been a good catch. You want your players to go after it though, don't you, at this stage? Perhaps you'd rather see an attempted catch.
Most definitely, particularly Molyneux. Yeah, it's Molyneux on strike. Break that, 2 new batters at the crease. Without a doubt. Particularly a Mac who you'd back to go. If you actually go for it, you get a really good chance. Straight up and over, mid-off, Sophie Molyneux. As she moves, 45.
For me, it's just the ability of Sophie Molyneux to time the ball and to place it. She's hitting the pockets. She's hitting the ball exactly where she's meaning to hit it. She's not using much force at all, really. It's just through good timing, good shapes at the crease. She looks relaxed today. This is an opportunity for her to guide her team to their 3rd victory of the tournament so far. I'm impressed with out in the red
She's in the red camp. We're going to have to might try and find out at the start of the next game what actually the equation is for the Melbourne Renegades in terms of this absolute miracle. We looked to go for the single Sophie Molyneux but decided against it, which was smart. That's the end of the 14th over. The 100 comes up for the Melbourne Renegades. They are just the 2 wickets down. That of Lee for 48 and Dooley.
Is an absolute savage. Say hello to your worst nightmare.
I'm out there and take 2nd place. I'm going to come in with guns blazing and knock him out.
Out for Ben on fire.
Valentina Shevchenko, the gold standard in women's flyweight division.
She's just that good. Oh, there's a tap. Jennifer Maya.
Another outstanding showcase for the UFC's flyweight division tonight.
UFC 255. Vicky Reddo versus Perez. Live and exclusive on Sony 10.2 and Sony 10.1 and in Hindi on Sony 10.3.
Adding another wicket to her tally. She is the leading wicket taker.
Taylor. A little bit of a false start.
Maybe it's the shadow that's come across the bowling crease at this point. It's a bit off-putting, isn't it?
It's well worked. She's one of these, I suppose typically you look at the shorter stature type of player and you always think busy, don't you? Mignon Duclia, Bridget Patterson, Katie Mack,
Rachel Haynes.
But Courtney Webb certainly fits that mould. She's got great footwork, good speed, wonderful speed between the wickets and turn. And what I really like about her, she knows her game at the moment. It's pulled nicely straight to one of the 2 fielders patrolling the boundary on the onside from Molyneux. She moves to 46.
Well, I think there's big things ahead for Courtney Webb. 54 off 33, forcing the match to a super over against the Melbourne Stars, which the Renegades ended up winning. A match-winning effort, her first WBBL 50. But what comes to mind, obviously, that shot last year where Renegades needed 6 to win. As uncapped for the Sydney Sixers bowling, you back cap in every day of the week. And young Courtney Webb finds a way to get a 6 over long on to win a game for her team.
Yep. Soft hands by Molyneux. Launceston, went through the Tasmanian pathway, finds herself a little bit of AFLW, real athlete. She clears the inner circle just.
Really fortunate that she did miss-hit that one, that it didn't travel closer to Katie Mack, who already had an opportunity to take a spec. He couldn't quite judge it. Good footwork there from Molyneux, just picking up the length really well today. 6 singles.
It's time to show cricket's true colour. After 9 months, men in blue will lock horns with Australia. Start on 27th November, 8 AM onwards, only on Sony Sports Network.
Summer to remember. Monday to Friday, 10 p.m. Only on Sony 6.
The game in quick time. Just continue to give her team a chance. They're disruptive, aren't they, the Melbourne Renegades? We've seen it before where, they're not really favourites to make a final from this point, but they start to muck up the ladder. Strikers will still believe they can do something special here. 17 runs to get off 30 deliveries. They need wickets.
It's through. Will this be Sophie Molyneux's half-century, a first since WBBL 04? It will be. She's been getting starts throughout the tournament. She's managed to kick on and get the Renegades into a commanding position.
Excellent batting today from Sophie Molyneux from ball one. Her intent has been fantastic. Nothing crazy. She's just been playing good shots, keeping the ball on the ground when necessary, finding that elevation to the pockets. She's been excellent.
Very next ball is clean bowled. Well, that was a little bit of an anti-climax there for an innings that really had most people thoroughly entertained right from the start. Sophie Molyneux, though, has put the Renegades into a good position to take out the win.
Tour score 27th November. Australian media here thinks that the men in blue stand no chance.
Inside the inner circle, trying to eat into a couple of these deliveries at the start of Satterthwaite's innings. 13 from 27 needed. That will be the instruction from Megan Shute to Talia McGrath to Amy Satterthwaite early, is just angle it in, tighten her up, give her no room for her hands to get through the ball.
You can see that Shute's really crowding the bat, ensuring that there's no easy singles for Satterthwaite to get off the mark.
Who's going to drive this home for them? For the Adelaide strikers, you can see some just general applause. They probably now need a couple of them to really give themselves a bit of a rev up, let Satterthwaite and Webb know that this last 13 runs is not going to be easy. Satterthwaite. And the end of the McGrath over. An over in which she...
I was so disappointed in my performance. They should have just played the package and called it a day. There's the searing pain running down my leg. That was me saying goodbye. He wasn't there, and he knew in his heart that it wasn't there.
The process became, I'll give you an answer after I'm working out for a few weeks, seeing how my hip does.
That poor redemption.
She's captained well today. I've enjoyed seeing the way she's marshalled her troops and the bowling changes, especially the way she backed Wellington to bowl a second over. Yes, it went for runs, but it got the wicket on the very last ball. The way that a senior player backs a leg spinner like that, I think is really impressive. Can do something special for her team.
That's the line of length.
We'll shoot it immediately coming on when Satterthwaite is at the crease. We've seen time and time again right-handed medium-pace bowlers stay over the wicket and target leg stump line to really tie up Satterthwaite, generating a few dot balls. You can see she's finding it difficult to score. The offside is all up. The only way she can hit it through there is if Megan Shute makes an error and pushes it a bit wide, bowls more on an off stump line, or if Satterthwaite backs off to the leg side, gives up her stumps in order to hit through the offside, and of course that would then bring the bowler into play.
Shute settles herself, comes around the wicket to Satterthwaite, and that's probably not the result that Megan Shute was looking for, because she's gone dot over the wicket, comes around the wicket, and Amy Satterthwaite's just released her hands a little bit and said, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Just 8 needed now from 21. Taylor's now going to just trot down to a short fine. Deep backward square, deep mid wicket.
I guess the only thing for me coming around the wicket brings LBW into play a bit more, so every mode of dismissal is now on offer for Shute.
Goes with the short ball. Satterthwaite probably wasn't really expecting it, but hasn't got a heap on it either. So she picks up another single, brings Webb onto strike. Now a different approach for the shorter in stature right-handed Webb.
Now I think Webb will be aggressive here. She's someone who can find the boundary at will when required. I think now is the time. They need a strong win to keep their finals hopes ever so slightly alive.
5-4 field for Megan Shute. Yeah, Ers in her line. Webb is all over that. There was a fielder there, the ball before. Not now. Webb picks up the boundary. Getting a little reputation for being the finisher for the Melbourne Renegades.
Well, I think it's deserved. She's been terrific. Under pressure, finding runs for her team. Today, really just finishing off the job, a job that was started by Lee and Molyneux. Their opening partnership, 77 off 60, has really set up this game.
Short fine in play now. Here's the cover sweeper. Shute over, the score moves to 3 for 121, so just the 2 runs needed by the Melbourne Renegades.
The dead man is risen! You will rest in peace. India Tour of Australia, Friday 27th November, 8 a.m. Live and exclusive, only on Sony Sports channels.
Been higher than most other teams. The side strain to Who. She's been able to come back from that, but it really, once the season was almost gone for the Renegades, obviously Maitland Brown, who was selected in the Australian T20 squad, has now had some hamstring surgery. She'll take some time to recover from that. Georgia Wareham resting with a stress reaction in her shin.
Going to take on the interfere, chance to get the single to tie up the scores here at the Sydney Showground. So 122 apiece. Gives a chance for the skipper to bring up the win for the Melbourne Renegades.
How does she do it? Looks like all fielders are going to be inside the circle. One fielder, though, remains out at that straight mid-wicket.
It's usually the way, isn't it?
It is a key area. It's forcing Satterthwaite to play a big shot to finish this game off. So no easy singles. Cover is in. Mid-wicket is in.
Taylor's deep. Taylor's deep at fine. She's outside the circle at the moment. She walks in. She'll be just inside. Happy to stand up and defend. Maybe Satterthwaite. She's got time on her side. She does.
Well, not really, because net run rate is important for them. But look, I think realistically it would take an absolute miracle for them to make semis. So to finish with a strong win against the Strikers, which they will. It's been a good effort from the Melbourne Renegades. Wonderful to see them notch up their third victory for WBBL 06.
Yeah, third victory for the Melbourne Renegades after an 8-wicket loss to the Sydney